Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial. And in this episode, what I think we'll be doing today is we'll continue around the back a little bit here. If we have some time, we'll have a work down the side maybe here and hopefully get this area put together. Now, it looks like we've got a little bit of a lip spoiler that we could do up here as well. But the main thing we're going to look at is the rear diffuser down here. It doesn't look like it's going to give us too much trouble, which is good. So then hopefully if we have some time we should be able to get our spoiler across the top, hopefully onto the side skirts. So what we'll do is we're going to need to look into our rear view here. Now again, it looks like our blueprints is letting us down a little bit because we can see inside here that we don't actually have any detail for our diffuser. Looks like we've also got this kind of extra line going across up there, which again doesn't seem to reflect the same in my reference images, which is a little bit frustrating. But I think what we're going to need to do is we are going to need to firstly extrude these elements in, and then it looks like once it's extruded in, the diffuser does actually come down more or less to this point here. So what we'll do is we'll grab the edges. If I do the correct element here, we'll grab the edges here, and I'm just going to grab the edge of all of the kind of rear facing segments here. So we'll grab these like, not that one, like so. I'm just going to hit Ctrl E, and on the world option as usual I'm going to drag this in. Okay. Now in doing so, I think we can see around here that I need to be on a slightly different curve, so I actually want to be more like that, and then we'll do the same with these top points here. I'm going to grab this one too, and we'll pull that out as well. So we're on roughly the right curvature there. What we're also going to want to do at this point as well is we're going to grab all of these points here, and we're going to pull these down. We're going to put it down so it kind of reflects what we have here. I think we could just run that the whole way because the section here is going to protrude out a little bit more. And then what we can do as well is we'll grab these points here and we'll just pull those inwards like so. So here we'll pull that down just to kind of help that curve off a little bit nicer. So we can see there we have a nice little kicked out section. Now what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to, I think the easiest way to do this would be to grab these edges again, and it looks like we're in a good position here, so we'll grab this one too, and I'm going to hit Ctrl E, and I'm going to pull this down and in, so we've got kind of like an extra face on here just now. And then we'll grab each of these here, and I'm just going to extract. So we'll do edit mesh and extract here. We can see here that currently after doing so, now that we have this section here extracted, is that some of these are black and then we have a grey face down here. What we're going to want to do here is we are going to want to reverse our normals here. So what we can do is we'll grab those faces and we'll just hit reverse there under mesh display. So that means that the darker faces are now on the back just like they are on the rest here. So we'll flip those normals back to the other side. Now the reason that we've done what we've done here is because it's the quickest way just to kind of really map that curve. We don't need to create another brand new piece in order to do so. As we can see, our pivots all over the place here now, so we can go to modify and center that. And it looks to me on my references like we are actually inset. And so what we'll do with this is we'll maybe pull it down just a little bit and then across just a little bit too. So something like that, so we've got that little bit of gap. Like I said, we are inset inside here as well. And we also are straight. So we'll bring that up like so. That looks pretty good. What we are going to want to do is on this point here is we are going to want to straighten that edge too. Maybe I'll give that there, that'll be fine. So we're looking pretty good just there. What we'll want to do here is we are going to want to grab this edge, and this edge is going to help us define the rest of this diffuser here. So we're going to hit Control E on this again and extrude this down. And we're going to come down to match on our blueprints here, and we can see now in our top view that we're starting to get that gap just there. And we'll hit Control E again. And we're going to bring this all the way across, and what I generally like to do at these points is to pull out to our furthest edge here, and I'm just going to hold X and snap that to the center of the grid here. Same there. So that's looking good. Now it also looks like on my references here that maybe this has just a little bit more of a dip to it. What it also looks like is that we want to grab each of these vertices or the edges across the top here. And also what we actually want to do is we want to pull these in. So it actually does look like it ever so slightly angles out the way. So we'll pull those in. And again, maybe we'll just bring that out a little bit more. So it's just protruding that little bit more. We'll see if we can see. We can't really see much from this side view here. That looks like it's following the curve at least. This looks like it's the exhaust, and this is a secondary bit of the diffuser that actually drops down to kind of enclose the exhaust pipes. So that's looking okay. It also looks like what we'll want is to grab the edges here, and we'll hit Control E, and we'll do this on the world again. We'll pull down ever so slightly, and we'll pull across ever so slightly, and then what we'll do is we'll pull in. So it's kind of like a lip that's on that section there. And on our rear view, just make sure that we're maintaining curves a little bit better. So here we'll maybe, for example, pull across here, and then we'll want to reflect that just there. We'll also want this one here to snap back to the center point with the grid as well. Here again, to help maintain, we'll pull in, and the rest are looking okay apart from this one. We'll go straight again. So we've got a little lip attached to this. So now what we'll do is we'll grab these edges again, and we're going to hit Control E to extrude them again, and we're going to go in the way this time. And it looks like before we do that, let's actually, before we go all the way in, what we'll do is we'll extrude in just a little bit, something like that, because the sections down here is going to come to kind of create our, let's see if we can see it on here. So we're going to want to create a kind of angled in line that comes down here and then goes back up, which is kind of the only real diffuser element. The rest of this is fairly smooth. So we'll grab an edge loop and we'll drop it just here. Should be fine. And what we'll do now is we'll grab these edges again. We'll hit Control E, and then we'll take these in, and we'll take them in fairly far. Something like that. We could also do at this point as well as we could actually straighten them off at that end. So we've still got the main shape to it, but we'll just straighten those off like so. And we'll pull it in like that, should be fine. So what we'll want to do at this point is we'll maybe insert another edge loop, maybe something just like this. And selecting our face here, I think that maybe looks to me like it's probably not going to be thick enough, so I'm just going to remove, so edit mesh, after selecting that edge there, and delete the edge and the vertices. And we'll go for this again, but we'll maybe go a little bit thicker, something like that. And we'll grab the faces here, and it will be this face and this face, and we'll hit Control E, and we'll bring this down here, and maybe bring it out, and let's see, grab this, and we'll bring these ones down, just something like that. And then we can maybe just bring these ones down just to kind of take that all the way there. Just looks pretty good. What we're going to want to do here is maybe bring that something more like this. It looks like it's a bit more curved than anything else. Okay. And then these points here we'll bring down something like that, and the points at the back here will maybe bring down a little bit further, because it appears that this bit here kind of curves down and under the car, like so. Okay. And then it also looks like this actually curves off to the side here, so we'll grab these points and try and help maintain a curve around there. Okay. That looks pretty good. Fairly happy with that, I think. Let's just see. Oh, that looks good to me. Okay, so we've got that diffuser inside there, which looks good. I think the last thing we'll maybe want to do here is we'll grab the edges. And I'm going to hit Control E, and we'll take this out here, move it back just a little bit. And I'm going to merge these together. And then what we'll also do is we'll insert an edge loop inside here, and then we can merge these ones too, just to kind of cap that off there as well. Okay. Okay, so we're looking pretty good just there. Cool. So I think what we'll do now is we can have a look at the side skirt here now. If I go into my references, it's going to be hard because we obviously are not going to have representation again on our side skirt here of the actual location. It's also going to be a little bit hard because it looks like it should probably start around here, and then it loops up and around the skirt here and then back down to the front. So what we might want to do here is we're going to need to bring in some geometry. We don't want to add another edge loop here because that will end up joining up here, which is going to be an awful lot of geometry or topology in one small space. So what I think we'll do is with this section here is I think we might start from this point, add in area for the skirt maybe here, and then we can adjust this. Now obviously we're going to have a triangle here, but we've got two ways to rectify that. Firstly, we could put an edge loop across here, or we could put one around here, but I'm quite inclined to put one around here, so that's going to make this now into a 4, and that's going to give us some more shape around here. But the best thing it's going to do for us is it's going to give us a bit more of that definition around this rear section where we needed it down here. So this will allow us, for example, to get a bit more curvature to these points. It could also give us a bit more depth around the wheel here, a bit more curvature, so we can grab these, for example, and just pull those out a little bit more. And it will also allow us to maybe smooth this off a little bit more as well. Okay, so that looks good. So we'll go with that. That looks fine for now. And it means we've got the correct amount inside there. It also looks like we're going to need to add an edge loop in here. Now I'm going to say that we are going to want to be around here, but we're going to want to curve a little up and around here and then back down like so, and then we can straighten that off to some extent around here, and again that's going to allow us to curve there, and then we'll just do the same here. Maybe bring this curve down like so, and then I think we'll need to add to our front section here as well, just to kind of match what we have just there. So I think over here maybe what we'll do is we'll grab these and we'll pull those out to keep it more curved down here. We can also use these at this point as well to add some curvature to this area, like so. Let me grab all of these to give a bit of curve. Okay. So if I get a better reference image, so what it actually looks like is, looks like we've got kind of two stages to this. It looks like our first stage is going to be grabbing all of these here and extruding in, something like that. And we're not going to want these lower faces here. What we'll also want to do is merge these to the front here. And we'll maybe close that off a little bit there and there. Okay, so it looks like we want to do something like that, and then we actually want another edge loop straight through here, which again we'll want to curve. And it looks like what we're going to want to do with these is grab all of these edges and extrude these back out to something like that. And then again, here what we'll want to do is we'll want to merge these back. Let's just isolate this selection here. So I actually want to bring these back here. And here. And then with these points, all of which that fall underneath here, I think what we'll want to do is pull these down, but we'll also want to pull these in. So actually looking something like that. But on the whole, if we grab all of these bits here, I don't actually want to be that far in. I want to be maybe something a bit more like grabbed one we don't want to over here. So we'll ignore that one for now. We'll grab just these. So we're going to want to pull these out. And here. And then these points, maybe something more like this. Okay, so we'll go something like that. Here we'll want to be further out here, like that, and then we'll want to do the same here. Okay. We pull these up a little bit more as well. Okay, so that's looking okay. And then in here we're going to want to pull these back too. And what's going to happen is at this point here we'll pull out and out here as well. And what we'll probably want to pull these out a little bit further than it appears on the references here, because when we do smooth this, obviously it's going to lose a little bit of that. So we'll pull this out something like this. Maybe not quite that much. Okay. So I want to make sure that edge under there is nice and straight. And for now, we don't actually need these lines underneath here. So we'll ditch those. At the back here, we'll just make sure we're seeing how we should. Okay. So essentially what we're wanting to look like is wanting to look like these are kind of inside up here, and they're tucking really far in. Let's get these a bit closer still. Okay. And then I think finally what we'll want to do with the skirts here is these portions I think we'll want to bring a little bit further down. It's kind of nice and smoothly bend that segment down the way. Okay. I feel like here this is maybe a bit too far in. Okay. Okay, so I think that's looking pretty good. Let's just delete the front and the underside here, because I did say in the previous video that we will create that. So what we'll do is we'll create that just now, the floor of the car here. So what we'll do for this is we'll grab ourselves a cylinder here, and we'll rotate this over here. So what this is going to end up being for us is our wheel arch. So we'll stick that roughly in the center. We're just going to scale this up until it kind of fills the majority of our arch there, which that does. And then what we're going to want to do with this is delete all of the faces here, and then all of the front faces as well, leaving the back and so on. So we now have something that looks like this. And with this here, just like we did at the back, we want to flip our normals inside here. So we're going to select all of these faces, mesh display in reverse. So we've now got the shading on the inside rather than the out. In our side view, we'll grab all of these very bottom vertices and we're going to pull this down just about here. So it's still above each of the body of the car. And then we're just going to pull these points in here just so it curves better into the arch of the wheel, like so. Okay. And then we can grab all of these vertices here and we'll bring these in. And we just want to quickly make these vertices here match roughly the wheel arch curvature. So we're just going to grab these and just push them in just a little bit. And it doesn't matter right now if we've got a few gaps because we can fill those in later. So that'll be fine. And then what we'll do with this is, at this stage actually, we will grab these inside edges and hit Ctrl E. And grab the vertices here, holding X, we'll bring these into the center. Like so. And then what we'll want to do is we'll grab this end and this end and we'll hit Ctrl E and we're going to extrude that all the way down. Actually, what we'll do first is we will duplicate this. So I'll hit Ctrl D on this and we'll bring this down over the rear wheel arch. And we'll just want to make sure that we're not protruding, which we are down here, so we'll grab these and we'll bring them up a little bit and we'll take that edge in. Okay. What we'll do here is we'll grab our edge and we'll hit Ctrl E. And we're just going to extrude this down, and essentially now we're going to merge these two elements together. So we'll grab these two, so both are selected now, and we will go to Mesh and Combine. And what we'll want to do is we'll just want to snap these to our existing points and then merge them together. Like so. Okay, and maybe what we'll do with all of this here is I'm just going to bring this a little bit further out, just like there. This one here. So just kind of matching along with the bottom of the vehicle there. If you want to be a bit more exact, you can add some lines across here and just kind of pull those points out a little bit more. We'll also grab these edges here and we'll extrude forward. And again, for now, I don't have to be too exact, so we'll bring this back here and this one back here. And then we'll just do the same with the rear here as well. We'll grab these two and bring these back to maybe up and inside the diffuser bit here. like so. And once we've got the curvature and the smoothness in for this car, we could add a bit more detail to this, should we wish to. And then we can simply extrude and duplicate that over. So I think we'll stop there for this episode. We'll get a little bit more detail down in the side skirt here. We won't really get the benefit of that detail really until we get the smooth in, created our rear diffuser section down here as well. So in the next episode, what we'll do is we'll fill in this gap as we've been talking about doing for the past however long. We'll make the spoiler across here, and then I think that's the base mesh done. And then it'll be a case of extracting the panels, smoothing everything out, and then we'll be good to go. Alright guys,